Hey, deserving listeners, you as individuals and as a group, let's watch as a group.
Well, just on the sex talks and everything else. But guys didn't talk about that at all.
What did you guys talk about?
No one talked about anything. I don't know. Whatever. That's guy talk. I feel like guys, typical. Let's not get too deep about everything else.
There's just something about the way that he talks that I just don't really understand. I mean, he's not saying anything incomprehensible, but there's just something askew about the way he words things. And it's not exactly true that they didn't talk about sex, because they did. Now, he might have forgotten, or maybe he's thinking, well, we barely talked about it, or so, I don't know. But I'm really curious. I haven't looked yet because I don't like spoilers, but I'm really curious what the audience reaction is to him.
What?
I feel like you're ready. Look at you.
What? I just came back from the pool party.
Seriously?
Yes.
You were there at the pool party tonight?
What?
He's still hammered. He might have even drank more, or the alcohol kicked in or something further. And she returns from the party and he wakes up. I don't know if I showed it, but at first he was like, "Oh, what are you doing?" So I don't know what that says. Maybe some hypervigilance, some trauma there. I can't know, but there was that. And then he's saying, "Oh, look at you. You're all dressed up." Now, I think he might suspect that he's being filmed or recorded, so maybe there's a bit of half-awake brain. He thinks he's making a joke, or he literally thinks it's the next day, and he's like, "Oh, look at you. You're all dressed up and ready to go," and he thinks it's the morning. So I don't know. If I were Birdie on her shoulder, I'd be like, "Honey, he's hammered and just waking up. Just wait until he's sober. Kiss him goodnight and go on with your night."
Well, how was
I'm
it?
getting ready for bed, and it was good. I missed you.
Missed you too.
Did you just drink too much?
Yeah. That's pretty clear. And now I'm wondering what her plan is. What's her agenda? What's she hoping for? I mean, even if he wasn't drunk, he's asleep. He's asleep for the night. So you're just going to wake him up in the middle of the night and start grilling him about stuff? Like, that can't work under most circumstances, particularly if he's hammered. I wonder if she got geared up from a producer or something, because she knows there's several cameras. I'm looking for clues, because they have a lot of cameras, but they only have so many cameras, and there's cameras here, and so she is coming in. She knows the cameras are there, so I wonder if she talked with production, who knows, and is wanting to either get some reassurance or just have an interaction because she knows she's being filmed, or she wants to grill him, or she is a little preoccupied attachment and is looking for reassurance. And one of the flashpoints for preoccupied people, she doesn't really have any signs of preoccupied attachment. We wouldn't necessarily see any, but one of the signs is that sleep can be a difficulty for them, because to have their partner go to sleep and for themselves to go to sleep, it'll feel like, one, they won't be able to fall asleep because they'll be concerned about it, but also there's this fear that if they go to bed angry or something, that it'll cause the relationship to fly apart. And that, because the central premise for a lot of preoccupied attached people is that conflict must be resolved now. It has to be resolved right now, and it has to be perfect. Otherwise, I won't feel secure, right? And so any time that will occur, like another flashpoint is if the partner is going to work or something, and the preoccupied person won't let them go to work, that kind of thing. Or the preoccupied person won't let the person go to the bathroom, or won't let the person leave the room, or whatever. There's so the sleep thing is kind of like that. It's in that category. It's not often talked about, so I guess this is a good opportunity to talk about. I don't know if that's what's happening here, but it kind of has that look to it, honestly. Whether or not she's preoccupied attachment style or not, I think there's a chance that she's worried about their relationship, which there would be some worries. And she wants to resolve that. That's fine. But I would imagine that she's smart enough to know that this isn't the time and that there's plenty of time the next day, and it would go a lot better if you let him sleep and get sober. So I don't know if that's what's happening.
Did you just drink too much?
No, I don't think so.
We don't know what he's going to say when he's sober, but that is a little notable. Well, what's defining too much? But I think by most definitions. So, there could be something going on there, some kind of denial, which wouldn't be strange. So, okay. And it would not be hard for someone in his shoes to say, maybe I did. Well, I like to, I was partying, but yeah, maybe I didn't need those last. He kept wanting to have shots with people. That's how I made a rule in my 20s at some point that when people offered shots, I would turn them down, even though it was socially a problem sometimes, because people would be like, come on, and I just learned that it was never a good idea, especially if it's later. If it's like at the beginning of the night and you need to sort of accelerate things, maybe, but at the end of the night, it's almost never. Plus, like, it's kind of gross because it's always the most disgusting tequila behind the bar, Anyway, so he was wanting shots, and so yeah, it wouldn't have been hard for him to say like, yeah, maybe I did, but I tired, and that's what my uncle used to say, because me and all my cousins, he was the young, fun uncle, and so we would want to play with him, and he would eventually, because when you're playing with a bunch of kids and they really want you to do stuff, and eventually you just want to draw a boundary, and the way he would draw a boundary is you go, I tired, and then that's a joke in our family. Anyway, so you could just say that. Yeah, I drank too much. I tired.
I'm a really sleepy boy. Do you want water?
Now, there's another possibility, aside from preoccupied attachment, that she's just a really nice person. And it kind of looks that way. And she just is not judgmental. She's not pursuing. She's not desperate. She's not anxious. She just cares, and she wants interaction, and she's just like, do you need anything? And, that's what she's doing. I wonder if people are thinking that she's a people pleaser and this is a problem. Maybe, but it's also not a people pleaser aspect to have concern for your partner.
You're like worrying me a little.
Why am I worrying you?
Because you're kind of being like incoherent.
Yeah, I would just say, honey, just talk to him about it in the morning. If he's being incoherent, it's because he's drunk. And if you're trying to have a conversation with an incoherent, drunk, tired person, it's not likely to go well. I wonder if she has... Okay, so there's... on this, what it looks like is that she's worried he's going to maybe die, or because people will die in their sleep after drinking too much, or they've had brain damage or something. I don't know what exactly she's thinking, but I think that she is, that's what she's concerned about. And she's being clear, which is good. People in life and on the show, when they have anxiety about something or a concern, they'll be obscure about it. They'll beat around the bush. She's very clear, and she has been. And you could just say, yeah, she's just a caring person. There could be some hidden hostility, some passive aggression around this of like, I am not going to let you get away with this. I'm not going to let you just sleep it off. I'm going to stay connected to you. I'm going to act like I'm being nice when in reality, I want you to kind of suffer. I want you to kind of realize what you did or how drunk you are or something. A lot of things can be true, but yeah, she's, and it's a real thing. He was incoherent when he woke up. The way that it looked was that his jokey defense was kicking in because he wakes up and when he first woke up, he's like, oh, what's going on? He seemed actually legitimately scared. And then he sees her at the very least, and he might have sensed the cameras around. So he thought, oh, I'm going to do my jokey thing. And his brain was half working. And he's just like, where am I?
I was at the pool party. I just told you. You came back early from the party and like you were really fucked up, and then like I come in here and
Not fucked up. I mean, just the only thing I needed is to take a nap.
All right, this is getting a little. He's fully awake now, therefore should be able to recognize that he drank. He doesn't have to say I drank too much, but he can admit that he drank. And she's being a little accusatory, which isn't going to help necessarily, but all he has to say is, oh yeah, I probably drank too much. So this might point in some direction of him having a problem with alcohol and a policy of deflecting and denying, smokescreen, this kind of stuff. Who knows? Or he has a general problem with being accused of something, or I don't know. But it would be so easy for him to say, yeah, sorry, I did drink a lot, and I like to drink. He doesn't have to say, I drank a lot, and therefore I should never do that again. He could just be like, yeah, I did drink a lot. I was having fun, just, and maybe I drank a little bit too much or whatever, just admit it. He's like, I don't know, I just needed a nap in the middle of the day. Well, I should talk. I take naps almost all the time. So, but what I'm saying.
4 times.
No, why are you crying? Okay.
Because you've asked me the same question 4 times, and you're freaking me out.
You freaked out?
Joe, you have asked me 4 times where I've been.
Hey.
I wonder if she's been around drunk people before. And maybe not. Let's go to the notes. We almost know nothing about her. Just the vibe. They just haven't really given us much. I don't have much of my notes anyway. I guess I'll add some things here. So on one level, it's rational for her to be concerned that he would ask the same question a bunch of times. I don't think he's literally having some kind of cognitive event other than being sleepy and intoxicated. Nothing in addition to that. But maybe, right? There's a chance. And if she has some kind of lack of history with drunk people, or she has a history with drunk people, then it would cause a reaction. I'll still hold out the possibility, is that the phrase, that she is doing something to make a point, that she's hurt and scared and wants to highlight something. She wants to alert him to what she's going through, but doesn't know how to do that directly. Maybe even wants to punish him. I don't put that high on the list, but people will do that, right? Like you go to a dinner party with your partner and they hurt your feelings in a big way. You're driving home and you turn to your partner, or they're driving, and normally you would just put up with their odd driving decisions, but in this moment you're angry and you don't feel like there's an open line of communication, so you start attacking their driving, but really what you want to communicate is that you're hurt from something that happened earlier, that kind of thing. So I don't know if something like that is happening. It would make sense because there were some things that Joe did that, the one thing that Joe did that I would legitimately be worried about if I were her is towards the end of the night, he was hammered, but when she turned to him to ask a question, which should never be asked of a super drunk person, not that it's a horrible thing, but it's not wise. Anyway, so she turns to him, isn't that weird? And about the, meeting each other and seeing each other for the first time and wondering if you're attracted to that person. And he says, huh, what? And then he says, and then he turns away and laughs as if he's laughing at her. It really kind of looked like that. We don't know. I hypothesize as to what that is. There's a non-concerning-ish perspective that's possible, meaning that it's a defense that that just automatically kicks in given his traumas. I don't know. Not that he was laughing at her, but he just uncontrollably laughs in uncomfortable situations. Anyway, so that I would be concerned about. So, there's nothing irrational about what she's doing, but it's just kind of interesting that she's focusing on it so much. So I have a foot in each camp. On one hand, it's like, yeah, he's denying that he was drinking. I don't know. I guess either she's naive to how drunk people talk when they're in a situation like this, and maybe naive to how people who are defensive about their drinking. And because I think what she's worried about is he's experiencing brain damage, which is possible. So I have a foot in the. On the other hand, I just think like he's drunk and tired.
Anyway, no, I'm good. I'm good.
Okay, Joe, I'm walking away.
Now she's crying and she's about to say a fucking course. So, yeah, I think this indicates that there's been an underlying concern. I don't know what that is, but I think that is what's happening. There could be a legitimate reason for this. We can't really know. The way that it looks is that Joe doesn't really like her. He has a problem with alcohol. He goes into denial about it. And she has been screwed from the beginning. There's another possibility that things could have worked out, perhaps, because they that first night, that first 24 hours in person, there were some indicators that maybe it was doomed, but there were some indicators that maybe things would have worked out. And now, I don't know. We'll see.
A fucking cactus.
They include in the edit, and I'm glad that they did, that he gets up and said, "What the fuck is going on?" I was initially encouraged about the two of them if he were to say, "Okay, even though I'm hungover and tired, I'm going to go talk to her because something's happening." And I thought maybe things could turn around. A hug, a kiss, that could have gone a long way. He gets up, and then he is talking to production, and he laughs. Ha ha ha, we don't know what about, but not encouraging. Now, there's a chance that his heart is still with her for the most part, and he has a compulsion of laughing and making a joke because of the trauma he experienced growing up. It doesn't mean that it's pleasant or okay or that he shouldn't know better, but there's a possibility. It's also a possibility that he's just a dick. It's also a possibility he's extremely immature. It's also a possibility all these things are possible. But it is notable that now we're aware of her demeanor having walked outside and she's crying and she says a fucking course. There's a chance that he has no idea that that's what's happening. There's a good chance actually that all he knows is that she was concerned but even that, like, you would think that you wouldn't joke around, you wouldn't laugh. He's smiling right now. The way that, so I'll add to the possibility, and I'm guessing a lot of people are speculating this, maybe even from the beginning, which, it is possible, given the way that Joe is, that he never liked her, that he never went on the show to even find someone. I mean, he's been jokey the whole time. Again, it could be a defense. He could have his heart in it. He could have had his heart in it in the pods and just didn't connect once he met up with her. He could have been very open to connecting, and since things are going, sideways right now, he's retreating or something. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities, but there is a possibility that he was never invested, and his laughter is just his is like lack of morality, lack of understanding that your behavior impacts other people. When a 13-year-old rolls their eyes at you and laughs at you and doesn't take your feelings into account, you're a parent or you're a teacher or something, and a 13-year-old laughs, you go, "Hey, how you doing?" And they're just like, whatever, and you're hurt by that. That's 13, that they're not older. That happens. Not all 13-year-olds are like that, but, we understand. Some people, it takes them a while to grow up.
Are you mad at me?
No, Joe, stop. I came in and I checked on you. I was like, hey, you okay?
Yeah. I don't know if you've ever woke up before. Like, I'm waking up.
Yeah, that I'll agree with. Some people, when they're waking up, their brain is not online yet. And he was disoriented. He was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" He was scared of like, "What's happening?" Imagine, especially going to bed pretty hammered and you're waking up in a bed you don't recognize. I mean, I do that all the time if I'm on vacation or something, or sometimes literally in my own bed, I'll wake up and like, "Where am I?" So, there's nothing strange about what he's saying. And all she has to be is like, "Oh, okay." So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's happening.
Because you left the pool party because you were so fucked up.
No, don't quit saying that. Jesus Christ. That was literally me waking up, okay?
And that was literally me coming in and making sure you're okay.
Right. Now she's kind of beyond understandable behavior. All she has to do is pull back. Now, I think she's been triggered. I think there's nothing wrong with her having concern, but now she's like yelling at him. What's the yelling? If I was to take a guess, I would say that she has some trauma around alcohol use, and a lot of us do, and she is feeling those feelings. There's nothing irrational about her having a concern about that. But the fact that she is locked in, I think, when I work with couples, I sometimes will see these conversations in my office. I don't always just hear things, they don't just sit down on my couch and tell me about a fight they got in. It might be happening right in front of me. So I've seen conversations like this before, at least in this category. And so I would ask her, okay, so just a little sidebar. What could he do or say that would reassure you? The first thing I would ask her is, what are you feeling in your body? Let's get to know that. Now, she might be able to be very quick about that. I'm scared. Okay. What's the fear? Okay. I actually, honestly, I don't even know what that is precisely, given what I'm seeing. But there's some candidates, right? Some absolutely rational ones, some questionable ones. Anyway, and then I would say, what could he do that would make you feel less fear? What could he do or say? And I would be very curious about that, because she might not know. It's important for us to know when we're in an argument, which they're in right now, that you know what you're looking for. Because if you don't know, then you don't know what to engineer the conversation for. You don't know what to request. You don't even know really why you're feeling what you're feeling. You're just kind of freaking out. And there's a chance that she's in that mode. There's also a chance that she knows exactly what she's feeling and exactly what she's wanting. At least on the surface, which is an option, that she just wants him to acknowledge reality, that he was drunk and that he woke up and he said the same question over and over again. I will say that he doesn't seem particularly intoxicated right now. So the repeated questions and the weird way in which he was talking when he first woke up could absolutely be due to the fact that he woke up. Now, if he has a pattern of that, it could help if he says, oh my God, so I've been this way my whole life. When I wake up, I'm not really right in the head. People will tell me this. My parents told me this. So I'm sorry, but yeah, I don't know. But this doesn't bode well for the relationship.
Quit saying that, Jesus Christ. I fucking came back and I went to bed.
What do you mean, stop saying that? Stop saying.
It's interesting. So I would have thought that he knows that he's being recorded, but this camera, I think, might be outside of the bathroom and he can't see that camera. And then the other camera, I think, might be in the darkness and he's in a light bedroom, because he's like, stop saying that. And it's possible that he doesn't have or does he have his microphone on? Anyway, yeah. So he's, I think, repeating a sentiment that he's had of, don't say that I have a problem with alcohol. Don't say that on camera.
What you said to me?
Oh, he does have his microphone on. I can't imagine that he slept with it. I'm guessing that production put it on him. It's just a guess. So he knows he's being recorded. Stop saying that. And he's looking around. Or maybe he's looking for other cast members. I don't know.
Coming in hot.
You're right. I'm sorry I came in and sat on the bed and scratched your back and got you a water. You're right. I'm coming hot. Sorry.
Yeah. And then he's laughing. At the very least, we can use it as a jumping off point that kind of laughter is indicative of contempt. When we have an experience with our partner and they do something that at least we're interpreting as ridiculous or something, then we might have a reaction like this. And what we're exhibiting is that we think it's ridiculous and we don't see a way out of it. And we are probably having contempt for the person or at least critical of the other person, of like, there's something wrong with you. This is ridiculous, right? You are ridiculous. And he's having that reaction. And if you're ever we can use it as a jumping off point, forever in a relationship where that is being felt by you, where you're just like, oh my God, you're ridiculous. This is dumb. You're crazy. Why are you doing this? If you deep down want the relationship to go well, you got to figure out a way to navigate that in your head before it is exhibited toward the other person, because that can be really hurtful to get that from the other person. There's a good chance that there are other options. Now, sometimes your partner is being weird and ridiculous, maybe if they're being abusive or something, but when in doubt, if you have that feeling, then you want to say, okay, it's not okay, and maybe it feels okay, but I know from experience that in the moment, in conflict, things will feel okay, that later maybe it'll be a month later, I don't know, or a year later, a while later, I will conclude that I was not in the right state of mind to judge whether or not I was interpreting things correctly or reacting in a way that I want to react. If that makes sense. So however you modify that, I'll tell you what I do, which is I just blanketly see everything that I'm thinking, or every urge that I have, every interpretation I have. I blanketly say, there's a chance that I'm wrong about everything right now. Because, you get old, you've been through it enough times, you get used to that feeling, rinse and repeat, so much so that in the moment I'm thinking, even though I'm really sure of my thoughts and what I am wanting to say in response to that, I know enough to know that there's a chance that literally every urge and every thought and every statement I feel like I want to say, every point I want to make is wrong. Now, wrong, right, but sometimes in a pinch, especially when your brain isn't working quite right under cortisol, which is what happens, I need a black or white kind of way of thinking it, and that helps to just be like, and I'll say, but if I am right about it, there's no emergency. I can address this tomorrow, next week. I don't need this to be fixed right now. It's another important principle to drill into your head, so much so that in a pinch, it'll come up. It's like being in the military, if I might be so bold to say that the reason why you have, or being on a sports team is probably a better thing, of you cannot, or golfing or soccer or something, if you have to think about how to kick the ball into the goal, if you have to think about the right stroke, then you'll never be able to succeed. It has to be automatic. And the only way you can make it automatic is if you do it over and over and over again when you are not in a game situation. And so you don't want to wait till the game, the conflict, to try to white knuckle a situation. When you're not in the game, you want to practice on your own. I know that when I am in a conflict, there's a chance that I'm extremely stressed out, even though I might not even know it. And with that stress, my brain isn't necessarily working right. My interpretations are going to be weird. My impulses are going to be weird. And I will feel like it'll be an emergency that I have to address right now, but that's almost never the case. I mean, unless we're dealing with a situation with our kid who's about to go over a guardrail and we're having a fight about whether or not someone should grab, this is silly, but you get my point. So I think that's what I will say in reaction to watching this train wreck.
What the fuck, Joe? Fuck me for trying. Seriously, fuck me for trying to help.
I feel like I woke up and I'm here, and now that's what I feel like. So
yeah, I don't know. I've seen couples recover the next day, so we'll see. All right, well, that does it for that episode of Psychology in Seattle. Everyone out there, please take care of yourself because you deserve it. You really, really do.